okay? So marry up your ends and then slip your jump ring just right on your cord, okay? And now what we're gonna do is a simple lark's head, but I'm gonna do a double. And I am going to make sure that the opening of my jump ring is facing up here. Because I'm gonna have to add my clasp, right? Where did you go? And I don't wanna, there it is. I don't wanna tie the knot over the opening of my jump ring. So I'm gonna make sure that's facing up and away from me. So now what I'm gonna do is I've got the jump ring on there, right? And I'm gonna take this portion of my wire, or my cord, and I'm put my fingers through it. And I am just gonna grab these tails and pull them through, okay? And let me pull you down. Let me get a hold of my jump ring and show you what's happening here. It's just a standard lark's head knot. But I'm gonna do a double knot just because I want it to be nice and tight. So I'm gonna hold my jump ring here. Okay, so do you see what happens when we're pulling our tails through the center? Okay, now before I put that any tighter, okay, I'm gonna take these cords okay, and I am going to grab the ends, the tails, one more time here, and I am gonna come up. See how my tails are on the top of that loop there? Okay, I'm gonna come up from the bottom, right through that loop again. Come on, guys. There we go. Okay, and grab these tails, both of them. Okay, and then pull. Okay, so now I'm going to be very mindful that I'm going to hold my pliers with my jump ring again. Let me grab where my opening is, which is right there, and hold it so I can add my clasp later. And that's my simple lark's head knot. It's just a double knot. So it'll make it nice and secure. And then I'll just go ahead and I'm going to pull my tails, pull each tail, and we'll just push that knot up where we need it to be. Okay, that's what that side looks like. I'll flip it over, and that's what that side looks like. Okay, so a nice secure standard knot, and if you want to put a dab of glue there, you certainly can. Okay, let me pull you up and explain what we're going to do to get started. So we are going to be feeding 2 beads on each strand. So I'm going to start with my green, and so I'm going to feed on 2. Okay, I'll let those drop down. And then I'm going to grab my other cord and put on 2 green. Okay. All right, and now what I am going to do is I am going to put on the small spacer bead, and I'm going to put my cords together because I can see I have to flush cut them. So it's going to be too much of a pain otherwise. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to grab each of my cords here. One is in each hand. I'm going to grab a spacer bead. I'm going to put it through going from right to left. And then this one I'm going to put in here from left to right. And there's my tails right there. And then we're going to just go ahead and pull this cord until those go all the way, that bead goes all the way down. And we'll make sure that it is centered. So we'll push it into place a little bit there. You just want to, when you're getting going, you kind of want to just make sure that first couple are going to be nice and straight. And let me pull you down. So this is what I've got. Okay. And now we're just going to continue this, and I'm just going to be going back and forth with my colors. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to feed on my white. So I'm going to put 2 white down 1 cord. Grab my other cord, put down 2 white, and I'll keep it under the mat for a few runs so you can, excuse me guys, get the drift here. So there's 2. Okay, so there's 2 white on each cord. Now I have each of my cords here. I'm going to grab a spacer bead. I'm going to take this side and push it through going that way. I'm going to take this one and go the opposite and put it right through the center of that bead. And so now my tails will be coming out in opposite directions. And now, see, there's both my tails. Okay, and now I'll go ahead and just pull. Okay. And now we will continue again. And so when I'm done, I'm going to finish it with just 2 beads on each end. Okay, and I'm going to put both my cords together, and we're just going to do a regular overhand knot right here. We're going to make sure we push this knot way, way down. So really keep control of your knot. And so I'm going to lay this down and push you down so I can get control of this. It's already wanting to tighten up on me right there. Okay, so for a style like this, it's just really important that we push everything down, right? Because it's cord, it's going to want to keep loosening up. And we're going to push this knot all the way down right at the end of these beads. See if I pick it up what happens, how it's wanting to keep tightening up on me. And so this is one of those things where you have to be kind of a little bit more fidgety and lay the bracelet on the mat so that you can get your knot right where you need it to be. That jump ring, and we're going to put these tails through, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to do wrap around that jump ring, keeping it over on this side, and we're going to be doing 3 triple knots, 2 more knots. So we'll do a triple knot closure. So this is going to be nice and secure. Okay, and again, I am pushing this knot pretty close. Okay, however, here's my jump ring over here. I'm going to go through it one more time, okay, before I tighten this up with these tails. I'm putting both of my tails right there through that loop. So there's my triple knot. I already made another one. You watched me do that a minute ago on the other side. So I am now going to, again, hold my jump ring with my pliers while I manipulate this and make this knot come down where I want it to be. But give it a nice good pull. And you see that big fat knot. So I've got a double knot on the jump ring and a regular knot on the other side ending the bracelet. So this is nice and secure. It's not going to unravel. Now, if you want to dab glue in there, guys, absolutely dab some glue in there. Just don't dab it on your jump ring. And now right here, I am going to open my jump ring and add a clasp. One part of it anyway. So we'll add my round portion, the heart portion. And then again, I'm going to close up those jump rings nice and tidy. I'll go over to the other side. We will open the jump ring and same thing. We will add our clasp. And so now I'll add my bar portion, my little arrow. And then we'll go on to the other side. And that's what I've got there. Okay. And over on the other side, I am going to trim off, I'm going to cut off on an angle, probably like around, I don't know, It's maybe about like that. I don't know what that is. Maybe a couple inches. Okay, because I'm going to put my dangles on. So I'm going to grab one of each of my beads, and I'm going to trim, but I just need a little bit. I always cut a little more, you know, for this part to make my knot, just so it's easier. And then I can trim it from there. So then we'll just make a couple of double knots here. And it's wherever you want it to be. Put it about right there. Okay, and because I do have a decent sized hole, as I was showing in these rondelles, and we know that the cord will pass through twice, I'm going to make a double knot here so that my dangles will not come off. In fact, if I want, I could do a triple knot, but in order to check that, you just go like this with my bead and see if I'm okay. And yep, I don't think that's going anywhere. Okay, and then on my other, those my little knots, and you know, they'll kind of go free now. I could have put a knot up here as well to make them more stable, but I'm not going to do that. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut those tails down, and that guy, and there we go, my friends. There we go. There's project 7 from Mistletoe Magic, a darling, darling bracelet. We have a ladder style, right, but much tighter, and I'll